It's an absolute honor to stand before you today to talk about a topic that can transform your life, your relationships, and your success. How to unleash unshakable confidence. Let's be honest, confidence isn't something we're born with. It's something we build, and sometimes it feels like we're walking through life with doubts sitting on our shoulders, whispering, "You're not good enough," or "You're not ready." But I'm here to tell you, confidence is not about being perfect. It's about showing up despite your imperfections. So how do we unleash unshakable confidence? The way we speak to ourselves shapes our reality more than anything else. Our inner dialogue, the constant stream of thoughts running through our minds, has the power to either build us up or break us down. Often, we don't even realize how harsh and unforgiving our internal voice can be. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend. We criticize our appearance, our efforts, our abilities, and our worth. And over time, these small, quiet thoughts take root, becoming beliefs that define how we see ourselves and how we show up in the world. If you want to build unshakable confidence, it begins with changing that inner dialogue. You have to become aware of what you're saying to yourself, question it, and start to shift the tone. Confidence isn't a switch you turn on. It's a process that begins with awareness, paying attention to the words you repeat to yourself when no one else is around. Are you encouraging yourself or tearing yourself down? Are you focused on your progress or constantly reminding yourself of your flaws? Once you notice the negativity, you can start to replace it. This doesn't mean lying to yourself or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing thoughts that empower you instead of defeat you. For example, instead of saying, "I always mess things up," you can say, "I'm still learning and I get better every time I try." Instead of thinking, "I'm not smart enough for this," you can shift to, "I may not know everything yet, but I'm capable of figuring it out." These changes might seem small, but they are powerful. Every positive statement you tell yourself is like a brick in the foundation of your confidence. It's also important to understand that your brain is listening to you. The more often you repeat something, the more your brain accepts it as truth. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, your brain will start to filter the world through that lens. You'll notice more reasons to doubt yourself and fewer reasons to believe in your abilities. But if you consistently tell yourself that you are capable, resilient, and growing, your brain will start to seek evidence to support that too. It's not about tricking yourself, it's about training yourself to see your potential more clearly. Affirmations can be a powerful tool in this process. Repeating affirmations like "I am enough," "I trust myself," or "I handle challenges with strength" may feel awkward at first, especially if you're not used to speaking kindly to yourself. But with repetition, these statements begin to feel more natural. Over time, they become part of your internal language, and that changes how you approach the world. Another helpful practice is to treat yourself the way you would treat someone you love. Imagine your best friend is struggling with self-doubt. Would you criticize them or remind them of their strengths? Would you tell them to give up, or would you encourage them to keep going? That same compassion and support is what you deserve from yourself. When you notice self-criticism creeping in, pause and ask yourself, "Would I talk to someone I care about this way?" If the answer is no, then it's time to change the message. You also need to give yourself credit where it's due. Confidence grows when you acknowledge your efforts and celebrate small wins. Don't wait for huge accomplishments to feel proud. Every step forward, every risk taken, and every moment of perseverance is worth recognizing. By validating your own growth, you begin to reinforce the belief that you are capable and worthy. Changing your inner dialogue is not a one-time effort. It's a daily choice. Some days will be harder than others. Old thoughts will resurface, and doubt will whisper again. But with practice, you can build a new inner voice, one that's grounded in truth, shaped by compassion, and rooted in belief. That voice will carry you through challenges, help you rise after failure, and guide you toward the life you want to live. In the end, the way you speak to yourself becomes the script for your life. So speak words that strengthen you. Speak words that lift you. Speak as if your future depends on it, because it does. One of the greatest myths about confidence and success is that we need to feel completely ready before we act. We believe that the right time will come, that we need more preparation, more information, or more self-assurance before we take that first step. But the truth is, if we wait until we feel fully ready, we may never begin at all. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision, and unshakable confidence comes from doing, not waiting. Taking action before you feel ready is a powerful mindset shift. It means acknowledging the fear and uncertainty, but moving forward anyway. It means recognizing that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move despite it. The people we admire for their confidence and success didn't wait for the perfect moment. They jumped in, often with shaky hands and racing hearts, because they knew that action breeds clarity, and with clarity comes growth and strength. There's something incredibly empowering about doing the thing you thought you couldn't do. It doesn't matter if you stumble or make mistakes. What matters is that you show up. Every time you push through hesitation and take that first step, you prove to yourself that you're capable, and those small victories start to add up. Each time you act before you feel ready, you expand your comfort zone and develop the muscle of resilience. You begin to trust yourself, not because you never fail, but because you know you can recover, learn, and try again. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It whispers thoughts like "I'm not qualified enough," or "it's not the right time," or "what if I fail?" These thoughts can sound reasonable, but they are often rooted in a fear of judgment or a fear of falling short. The truth is, you gain qualifications through experience. You grow into readiness by acting, not by waiting. Every expert was once a beginner who chose to start before they felt fully equipped. Think about any skill you've ever learned in life. Riding a bike, speaking a new language, giving a presentation. You didn't wait until you mastered it to try. You learned by doing, by failing, by adjusting. That same principle applies to every other area of life, whether it's starting a business, pursuing a passion, or standing up for yourself. The only way to truly get ready is to begin. Taking action before you feel ready also helps to silence the inner critic. When you stay stuck in your head, overthinking and second-guessing, your fears grow louder. But when you start doing, your focus shifts. You begin solving problems instead of imagining them. You stop asking, "What if it goes wrong?" and start asking, "What's the next step?" Action grounds you in the present moment and pulls you out of the cycle of self-doubt. It's important to understand that taking action doesn't mean being reckless or ignoring preparation entirely. It means being willing to take the first imperfect step, even if everything isn't in place. It means giving yourself permission to begin as you are, with what you know, with what you have, and with who you are right now. There will always be more to learn, and there will always be uncertainty. But progress is made by those who are brave enough to move while learning along the way. Sometimes the fear of starting comes from the fear of being seen trying. We're afraid of how we'll look if we mess up. But the truth is, no one is watching as closely as we think. People are often more inspired by our courage to try than by our ability to be perfect. And when you act before you feel ready, you give others permission to do the same. Your bravery becomes a ripple effect. Taking action builds evidence. It gives you proof that you're more capable than you believed. With every challenge faced and every step taken, you build confidence. Not because everything went perfectly, but because you dared to begin. Confidence doesn't grow in the waiting. It grows in the doing. So if you're standing at the edge of something new and fear is telling you to wait, take that as a sign. because that fear means you're stepping into growth. Take a breath, feel the fear, and take action anyway. Start before you're ready. Speak before you feel prepared. Try before you know how it will turn out. That's how confidence is built, one bold, imperfect step at a time. Failure is one of the most feared and misunderstood parts of life, yet it is also one of the most powerful tools for growth. Many people view failure as a sign of weakness or incompetence, something to be ashamed of or avoided at all costs. But in reality, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of the journey toward it. Embracing failure as a teacher means seeing it not as something that defines you, but as something that refines you. It means using your setbacks as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. When you fail, it's easy to internalize the experience and start questioning your worth. You might think, I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But those thoughts are not facts. They are reactions born from the discomfort of not meeting expectations. If you shift your mindset, failure can become a mirror that shows you where to improve, where to focus, and where you have the most potential to grow. Every mistake holds a lesson about your approach, your assumptions, your preparation, or even your resilience. One of the most liberating truths you can accept is that failure is inevitable. No one achieves anything meaningful without encountering failure along the way. Behind every success story, there are moments of doubt, missteps, and rejection. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is not the absence of failure, but the ability to learn from it. When you stop fearing failure and start welcoming it as part of the process, you open yourself up to deeper learning and long-term success. Failure has the ability to teach you things success never could. It humbles you, sharpens your focus, and builds character. It shows you that you are not invincible, but you are adaptable. You can fall, but you can also rise. This is where true confidence is born, not in perfection, but in the understanding that no matter what happens, you have the strength to keep going. Embracing failure also develops emotional resilience. When you learn how to sit with the discomfort of a failed attempt without letting it break your spirit, you become stronger. You start to see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to evolve. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It takes courage to face failure without flinching and discipline to extract value from the experience. But with each failure you embrace, you grow tougher, wiser, and more capable. Another reason failure is such a powerful teacher is that it pushes you out of your comfort zone. If you're never failing, chances are you're not stretching yourself. You're playing it safe, avoiding risks, and staying small. But growth lives on the edge of discomfort. When you try something new or daring and it doesn't go as planned, that failure is evidence that you had the courage to step outside what was easy and familiar. And that's worth celebrating. To fully embrace failure as a teacher, you must also change the way you talk about it. Instead of saying, "I failed," try saying, "I learned." Instead of thinking that was a waste, think that was an investment in my growth. Reframing your language helps you reframe your mindset. It reminds you that failure is not permanent. It's a moment, not a life sentence. What matters most is what you do next. Reflecting on your failures is just as important as experiencing them. Take the time to ask yourself what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and what you will carry forward into the future. Journaling, talking it through with someone you trust, or simply thinking deeply about the experience can uncover insights you might miss if you rush past the pain. The goal is not to dwell in regret, but to extract wisdom that can guide you. Remember that failure connects us as human beings. Everyone fails. Everyone struggles. When you share your failures openly and honestly, you create space for others to do the same. This vulnerability builds trust and community. It also breaks the illusion that confidence and success are about getting everything right. They are about perseverance, humility, and learning. So the next time you fall short, take a breath and remind yourself, this is not the end, it's a beginning. Let failure teach you, let it shape you, let it fuel your next step, because every great leap forward is made possible by the lessons learned in moments that didn't go as planned. Embrace failure not as a curse, but as a classroom. And in that classroom, your confidence will grow stronger than ever. In today's world, it's easier than ever to fall into the trap of comparison. Social media gives us a constant highlight reel of other people's lives, their achievements, their vacations, their polished images. We scroll through carefully curated snapshots and start to question our own path. We wonder if we're doing enough, if we're successful enough, attractive enough, happy enough. Slowly, comparison begins to erode our self-esteem, replacing confidence with doubt. But here's the truth. Comparison is a thief. It robs you of joy, clarity, and the confidence you need to live your own unique life fully. To build unshakable confidence, you must learn to stop comparing and start owning who you are. When you constantly compare yourself to others, you ignore your own progress. You overlook your own strengths, your personal growth, and the challenges you've overcome. You start measuring your worth by someone else's journey, forgetting that their story is not yours to live. No two people walk the same path. We each have different backgrounds, experiences, talents, and timelines. Just because someone else seems ahead doesn't mean you're behind. They're simply on a different journey. The more energy you spend watching others, the less energy you have to invest in yourself. Comparison also creates a false sense of lack. It makes you focus on what you think you're missing instead of appreciating what you have. You might look at someone else's success and think, why not me? But success is not a limited resource. Someone else's win is not your loss. In fact, their success can be proof of what's possible for you. Instead of feeling threatened, try feeling inspired. Let their accomplishments remind you that great things can happen, and that you're capable of creating your own version of success in your own way and time. To break free from comparison, you must start owning your story. That means embracing your strengths, your struggles, your quirks, and your journey. It means showing up as your authentic self, not the version of you that you think others want to see. Owning your story is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's saying, this is who I am, this is what I've been through, and I am proud of the person I'm becoming. That level of honesty with yourself builds confidence that cannot be shaken because it's rooted in truth. Owning your story also means acknowledging your progress. Too often, we're so focused on the destination that we forget how far we've come. We downplay our efforts because we're not there yet, wherever there may be. But confidence grows when you recognize and celebrate every step forward, no matter how small. Did you face a fear, try something new, or bounce back from a setback? That's growth, that's success, and it deserves recognition. Your journey matters, not just the end result. Another key to owning your story is practicing gratitude. When you take time to notice what's going well in your life, you create space for appreciation instead of envy. Gratitude helps shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. It grounds you in the present and reminds you of your own worth. When you're grateful for your unique path, you become less interested in comparing it to someone else's. You also need to limit your exposure to the things that trigger comparison. If scrolling social media leaves you feeling inferior or anxious, take a break. Follow people who inspire you with honesty, not just aesthetics. Fill your mind with content that uplifts you rather than content that makes you feel like you're falling short. Protect your mental space. Your confidence is too valuable to be constantly chipped away by unrealistic comparisons. Building unshakable confidence means knowing that your value is not dependent on being better than anyone else. It's about being fully, unapologetically yourself. Your worth is not up for comparison. It's inherent. When you stop trying to fit into someone else's mold, you make room to grow into the person you were always meant to be. So instead of asking, "How do I measure up?" start asking, "What makes me unique? What skills, passions, and experiences do I bring to the table? How can I use those to live a life that's meaningful to me?" Confidence comes not from being like everyone else, but from fully owning your individuality. When you own your story, you stop needing approval from the outside because your strength comes from within. Let go of the comparisons, reclaim your energy, stand in your truth because your path is enough. You are enough, and the moment you stop comparing and start owning, you'll discover a level of confidence that no one can take away. Confidence isn't something you're simply born with, it's something you build, brick by brick, day by day. And one of the most powerful tools you have in that process is your habits. The small decisions you make each day, the routines you commit to, and the actions you take consistently shape not just your life, but how you feel about yourself. If you want unshakable confidence, you need to build habits that strengthen you, habits that support your growth, reinforce your values, and prove to you that you are capable and worthy. Habits are powerful because they eliminate the need for constant decision making. When something becomes a habit, you don't have to wrestle with motivation or willpower. You just do it. That consistency creates stability, and stability breeds confidence. When you know you're showing up for yourself daily, even in small ways, you begin to trust yourself. You no longer wonder if you can rely on your own discipline or follow through. You already know you can. One of the first steps in building strong confidence, boosting habits, is to start small. Many people try to overhaul their entire lives overnight, only to burn out quickly. But confidence doesn't come from massive overnight change. It comes from doing something meaningful and manageable every single day. If your goal is to become more physically strong, start with 10 minutes of movement. If you want to become more focused, commit to 5 minutes of mindfulness each morning. The key is consistency. Small steps lead to big results when repeated over time. It's also important to choose habits that align with your goals and values. Don't just adopt habits because someone else is doing them. Take time to reflect on who you want to become and what habits will help you get there. Do you want to be more disciplined? Then build a routine that helps you wake up earlier or plan your day the night before. Do you want to become more positive? Create the habit of writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day. The more your habits reflect the person you want to be, the more they reinforce your identity, and confidence is deeply rooted in a strong sense of identity. Habits that strengthen you are not limited to physical actions. They also include mental habits. Start paying attention to how you talk to yourself. Make it a habit to challenge negative thoughts and replace them with empowering ones. Practice self-compassion when you fall short and encourage yourself the way you would a close friend. Over time, these mental habits become automatic and they reshape the way you see yourself and respond to challenges. Another essential habit is keeping your promises to yourself. Each time you say you're going to do something and then follow through, you build credibility with yourself. You show yourself that your word matters. On the flip side, every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence takes a hit. So don't make promises you can't keep. Start small, follow through, and let the sense of accomplishment fuel your next step. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is another habit that strengthens confidence. The people you spend time with affect your mindset, your habits, and your belief in yourself. Make it a habit to engage with people who support your growth, challenge you in healthy ways, and remind you of your strengths. Likewise, reduce time with those who constantly bring negativity or doubt into your space. Confidence flourishes in an environment of encouragement and honesty. Tracking your progress can also be a powerful habit. When you keep a journal, mark off a habit tracker, or simply reflect at the end of the day, you start to see your progress in real terms. You begin to notice patterns, celebrate wins, and make adjustments where needed. This kind of reflection reinforces your efforts and reminds you that growth is happening, even when it's not immediately visible. Lastly, be patient. Building habits that strengthen you is a long game. There will be days when you slip up or feel like you're not moving fast enough, but the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Confidence comes not from doing everything right, but from knowing that you're showing up, learning, and getting better over time. In the end, your habits are the foundation of who you become. If you want to build unshakable confidence, start with what you do every day. Choose actions that align with your values, support your growth, and remind you of your strength. Bit by bit, those habits will transform not just your life, but the way you see yourself. And that's where true confidence is born, in the daily choices that shape the person you are becoming.